Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Marvelous Monday. I'm Leslie Watkins. So, I've got a number of things to share with you today. Let me just grab a couple of things first. As I mentioned last time, it is celebration. And sorry, I'm kind of a hot mess here today, so please bear with me. I've had a lot of things going on this morning. Let me just make sure that we are live and that you can see me. So let's see. Okay, I think it's working. Okay, great. All right, let's you can see me. There we go. Okay, so I'm sorry a little bit late today. I had to do some errands this morning. And then what I wanted to do for the show today was to share some of the items from the Celebration catalog. And I got a little bit carried away, as I often do. And I came up with a really cute idea for you. I'd love to see what you all do with it. I have another group here on my Facebook page, which is called the Dandelion Paper Pals, Dandelion Cottage Paper Pals, and anybody can join. And I set that up so that if you are inspired by something that you see here and you have some more ideas that you'd like to share with the rest of us, you would have a place where you could post those things. So I'm hoping that when you see what I've done today using some of the celebration items, that that you will also be inspired to do something and that you will post them and share them with the rest of us. So basically, Celebration is a special sale that goes from July 1st through August 31st from Stampin' Up! And you can select any of the products, the paper crafting stamps and die sets and all of the tools, the papers, the adhesives, the glues, the embellishments, the ribbons, it's jam-packed with all sorts of wonderful things that you can use to create boxes, cards, gift bags, one-of-a-kind artwork, all sorts of goodies. So the point is that during celebration, for every $50 you spend from the catalog, you get to select something free from this little brochure. There are also some things in here that you can get with a $100 order as well. So what I did today was I wanted to use some of the things in the catalog here. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit. I'm going to share with you which sets I used. So I'm using a note card and an envelope from this one. This is a $50 or free with a $50 order. This is called the Pool Party and Soft Seafoam Cards and Envelopes. And you get 20 card bases and 20 envelopes. They measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's a standard size. They are really pretty. Very, very nice, cool colors together. The other thing that I'm using is this die set, and this is called Tree Lot Dies, and this is a set of dies, and there are a ton of them. There's 24 dies in here, and this is free with a $100 order. This one actually coordinates with a stamp set that is in the annual catalog, and that's this one. That's called Trees for Sale. And let's see, maybe I'll just Oh, it's not the annual catalog, it's the holiday catalog. So let me just pull that out. Because we also have live the mini July through December holiday catalog. And this stamp set is on page 39. So let me show you what that looks like. So here it is. Okay, so it's cute. It's got a two-step stamp process. It's got a cute little dog with these little dog tracks running through the snow. It's got these little lights and a pole, and the dies, which I've been using, so they're all pulled out of place here. But the dies actually cut out that pole and the lights, the trees, the little dog, and a bunch of other stuff as well, like the wreath for the camper. So let's see if you can see here. There's a wreath pictured on this card. Here's the camper with a little curtain, the light strung up in the background. Super, super cute. So I'm going to be using that die set today. I'm not going to be using the stamps, but I am going to be using the die set. And then I've decided to use the decorative series paper from this free item. This is called Wonderful World Stamp Set and Wonderful World 12 by 12 Designer Series paper. And you get both the 12-pack 12 by 12 sheets of double-sided Designer Series paper with the stamp set free with an order of $100 or more. And this is very, very pretty. If you like floral motifs, this is a great set to have, because you can do a lot with it. You can make background patterns. You can use them as a standalone flower. You can color them to give them a little more of a realistic look. So lots of goodies. But today I'm just going to be using these papers. So that is the intro. So let me put these things aside for the moment, and I'll show you what I've started to do. So to get ready, I grabbed an envelope and a note card, okay, and I chose the soft sea foam, and then I cut out some of the pieces of the Designer Series paper so you can get a sense of what that looks like. Very pretty. And as I was looking at this paper, it made me think of a quilt, a beautiful patchwork quilt. So that's what I'm using for my inspiration. I've gone ahead and I've cut out the little camper. So here it is. I actually doubled it up. So this is two pieces of the thick basic white doubled up so it's very rigid. And then I added this Coastal Cabana detail. And then I used the dark, I think this is the basic gray, I forget what, the darker gray in the Neutrals collection for the hitch. And now that I'm looking at it, I probably should have done the tire, so I may do that. Why don't we do that real quick so you can get a sense of what the dies look like, because that's going to bug me if I don't do that. So here's the die, and for those of you who are new to stamping, this is a die cutting and embossing machine. It's all manual. I've got a scrap of the gray paper here, and I just want the wheel. So I'm just going to place that on the cutting plate like so. Put the top plate, run it through, and I don't have to go too far because it's just a little piece that I'm looking for. And that's it. So I'm just going to snip off that wheel. Put the die away so I don't misplace it. And because this is tiny, I'm going to use my tweezers. Add a little bit of glue, and then I'm just going to fix that so we don't have a big white tire, because that's going to look funny. Oops. Get that on there straight. There we go. How cute. Oops, sorry, off camera. Let me put this where you can get a better look at it. There. Adorable. So for those of you who are interested in vintage trailers, this looks like a little canned ham trailer. That's what they call it. I love camping. I love trailers. I follow a bunch of YouTube videos or channels that feature canned ham trailers, these beautiful old vintage trailers. And if you want a real treat, if you'd like to see what people do with these beautiful old trailers, go to YouTube and look up. I think it's the 1996 rally. I will post the link below after the video. And there's this wonderful guy named Larry from Mobile Tech, and what he does is he goes around and he interviews all of these ladies that have these wonderful vintage trailers, and each one is better than the next. I mean, they're just fantastic, and it's a lot of fun. And I actually own one. I don't own like a really fancy 1950s version, but I have an early 60s version of a Reddale trailer, which is pretty cool. And that is a big project that I have waiting in the backyard that I'm hoping to get to sooner than later. But you know, not knock on wood. We'll see when that happens. But I will share my progress. I call her Belle, and I will share my progress with Belle when that day comes. But in the meantime, it's a lot of fun to play with these things on paper. And oh, I see a bunch of people. So Kelly, hello. And Sandra, hello. Linda, Ginger, Becky, and Penny. Thank you all for tuning in with me a little bit late today. I'm sorry if I upset your schedule a little bit, but you know, sometimes in the summer stuff happens. So this is the overall plan. My idea is to have a cute greeting card or a note card with the trailer as a pop-up on the inside. And as the decorating theme, I wanted it to look kind of like a quilt, like a crazy quilt. So I'm thinking about using some of these beautiful papers together. And I've gone ahead because this was a little bit time consuming, but I did go ahead and I cut out, there are basically 3 different sized tree shapes that come with the die set, and they look sort of like this. And so each tree shape has its own cutout interior so that you can mix and match. So basically what I've done is, I think you can see here, I've used I used all the DSP for this. I didn't use any cardstock because I wanted it to have that really fun mixed up kind of impression. So here are the trees that I've made. I've also fussy cut some of the flowers from the Designer Series paper. And by the way, it is a beautiful pack of Designer Series paper. So if you're somebody who loves pretty paper the way I do, you're going to really like this paper pack. So the idea is to have the inside of the card open up like this, and then have the trailer pop up and be in the midst of the forest and the flowers. So I'm going to begin by just getting my base pieces glued down. And I'm using this pretty green leafy pattern as my background. So that's going to be my sort of woodsy forest interior. Give that a good burnishing. Make sure it's straight. And then for the forest floor, I'm going to use this pretty floral design. So same thing. There we go. So that is the inside of the card. And then for the cover of the card, I'm again going to use this green leafy design as my background. And I'm not even thinking about any kind of messages at this point. I have no idea if this is going to be a birthday card, a thank you card, or whatever. It could be anything. It would actually make a very cute happy retirement card if somebody was going to be taking off on a camping trip. That would be way too much fun. How many of you go camping? And do any of you have an RV or a trailer, or do you do tent camping? When I was a kid, I loved camping. I went all over the place. I had a great trip when I was about 17, and I traveled from Long Island, and I went up through New York State and into Canada, across to the Gaspé Peninsula, and then over to Nova Scotia, and then back down through Maine and Massachusetts, Connecticut, and back into New York State. That was a month-long camping trip in a tent, braving the amazingly huge mosquitoes in Canada. Holy cow! But well worth it. So okay, so that's my card base. Looks like that. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to want to put this on the cover. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit. And let me see, what do I want it to be? Well, we'll wing it. Let's take it down. Take it down. Let's see what this looks like. I need a little bit more at the top. Let's do this. Yeah, I like that. Okay. One of the wonderful things about using the Stampin' Up! Products, especially things like the DSP and the coordinating colors, is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel to put things together that coordinate beautifully. So, you just open up the pack of paper, all of the 12 different designs coordinate beautifully. They use the same color palette, so you get something that is so pretty. I think that's so pretty. I just love that. All right, and so then what I can do later when I'm ready is I can create a label. Maybe I'll die cut a label. I may end up using some of these trees on the front, but for today I'm not going to spend too much time on the cover. It's really the inside that I'm interested in. So here's my little, this is a little bit tricky to show you, but my trailer's going to pop out something like that. All right, and so in order to make that happen, I've cut out a piece of the thick basic white, and this strip measures, what is it? It's about 4¼ okay? And then I've scored it at 1/4, 1½, 2¾ and 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue this to my camper. So on this little, get my glue working. There we go. Just going to spread that out. I want this tab to be nice and well glued because I don't want this to come apart. And I'm going to begin by lining this up with the bottom of the camper, like so. Okay. Just make sure, sorry if I'm off screen here, I'm trying to see what I'm doing. Okay, that looks pretty good. So what I have here is that little tab is just glued along the straight bottom of the camper. And remember that this part, the camper is doubled up, so it's really nice and thick. And this is also the thick basic white, so that's going to have a lot of strength to it. Now I'm making sure that all of my folds are well burnished, okay, because I want the action on this to be nice and smooth. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this over, just like that. And then I'm going to add my glue here. Okay, and again, I'm going to spread that out. I want that to be a nice solid layer of glue. And then I'm just going to fold this back on top of that. And it's important that you use that technique to ensure that the action moves smoothly. So pop-up cards are all about having, let's hold this for a moment, are all about having this equilateral box shape. Okay, so it can be rectangular or it can be square, but it's got to be equal so that it functions properly. And once now, okay, so now that we have this, you can see how you could make a very cute little treat box out of the trailer if you chose to. You could put window sheets in the windows so that you could have a little peek inside. You could create a little box, a little gift box, which I may do at some point in another video. But for now, we just need something that looks like that. All right, and then what I want to do is I want to mount this in my card so it has, oops, let me bring you out a little bit. There we go. So it has this kind of an action. All right, and so it's going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh, I think I'm going to have to add a little piece for the wheel. I didn't think about that. Oh, okay. Let me snip. Let me just cut out a tiny little tab for the wheel to make, actually, should I use the design? Maybe I'll use the designer series paper for this. That might work better. So I'm going to use a little piece of my paper that I used for the base. I'm just going to cut, let's see, it's about, I'm just going to cut about 1/4 inch. I only need a tiny piece. Think about my wheel. All right, so I've just got a tiny piece, a little tiny strip, and all I'm going to do is I'm folding that in half. So I have a little tiny L shape. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to glue that. Ooh, that's going to be too long. I have to make that shorter. Okay. Designing on the fly here. There we go. So I'm just adhering that because what I need is a kind of a contact point for the bottom of the trailer so that it doesn't go flying up when you open up the card, which I will explain when I put it together. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to that, and then I'm going to add glue to the back of my box support. And then I don't want this to be right in the middle. I'm going to put it off to the side a little bit. So I'm just going to line that up, and I want that to be lined up with the fold. And I'm going to use my bone folder, and I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but let's see if I can get this under camera. I'm just going to use my bone folder to press that down so that little wheel support is firmly on the ground. All right, and the rest of it looks like that. Now, if you want to be really fancy, you could use designer series paper instead of the Whisper White, but this is kind of my prototype. But it is possible that, for instance, if you wanted to see less, let me just make sure that this sticks down. If you wanted to see less of the white in there, you could use designer series paper to help make it disappear a little bit, but maybe that's getting just a little bit too fussy. Right, now I'm just going to hold that for a moment, make sure that that sticks down really well. And while I'm holding that, I'm going to check to see if anybody has any questions. Oh, Danette likes the DSP. It is so pretty, Danette. It really is. Linda, no camping for me. Oh my goodness. I would have thought you would be a camper. Becky likes pop-up cards. Yeah, Kelly likes the DSP also. Sandra would love to see creativity. Well, me too, Sandra. It's going to be a big project. Um, it's definitely something I'm looking forward to, but right now I just got a bunch of other things I need to take care of. All right, so there it is, and it is absolutely adorable. Okay, so there's the action. All right, and it's working beautifully. So the trick then is to remember to adhere that little point by the wheel, and then of course your box shape is raised up slightly from the floor of the card to accommodate that space under the trailer. Okay, so I think you've got that. Pretty easy. Once you get the idea of it, it's really very easy. It's very, very simple. Okay, so now the next thing that I want to do is just to grab my trees and do some decoration. So let's begin. I've got small, medium, and large, so I want to grab a medium tree. So I'm just going to begin adding some trees to the back. Oh, let me bring you out a little bit so you can see. Here we go. All right. I gotta clean my glue nozzle here. It's all clogged up. There we go. Oh, by the way, I want to mention that when I was gluing these trees together, when I was adding that kind of textured part on the top, I did use the fine tip glue because it was a little bit fussy. So that was probably the most time consuming part of the process. So just know that if you want to do that, you may want to take the time to get out your silicone craft sheet and your fine tip glue to make sure that you get some, don't make a mess with the glue. Okay, now on this side I can have my bigger tree. I'm just going to keep going. Extra glue there. And I could, if I wanted to, I could have a pop-up tree also. So that would actually be super cute. So I think I'm gonna do that, but I'm not gonna make you watch me do it because that would make the video too long. But I'm gonna add up another pop-up. I'm gonna do exactly the same thing I did here, and I'm going to add a little tree to bring that forward. And then the other thing I want to do is I have these little flower cutouts, and my idea was to just sort of arrange them around the trailer. So I've got one that looks like a little rose bush, okay, and that. So I'm gonna keep working on this off camera because I think it's going to be too long and boring if there's long periods of time while I'm figuring things out. But that is the beginning, all right, and that is the main mechanism. And then of course you can use dimensionals and embellishments and everything else. So I'm gonna end the video here, and then what I will do is I'll take several pictures and post the additional pictures together with the card so that you could see how the whole thing came out. And actually, as I'm looking at the card now, I'm thinking how pretty would be a little label here with a sentiment, or heck, you could even put a little path. How cute would that be? All right, you can see just one thing leads to another, but I thought that was so adorable, and that it works so beautifully with this paper. And remember, all of these things come free with your regular order. So if you were to place an order for any kind of tools or adhesives, embellishments, ribbons, etc., papers, you could get the envelopes, the DSP, and the dies that allow you to cut out all these shapes for free during celebration. So I will be listing all of the things that I used today below, and I'll also have some links. So if you'd like to do a little shopping, if you'd like to explore the catalog, if you'd like to learn more about Dandelion Cottage design, and I hope you'll sign up for my mailing list, which is notes from Dandelion Cottage. Please do that. I've actually had a brainstorm about something new that I want to do with notes, which is going to add a lot of extra fun for the readers. So if you're not already subscribed, this would be a great time for you to subscribe. And I've also got some really fun workshops and classes coming right up. So stay well, stay happy, stay creative. I'll be back on Wednesday at 12 noon for Watercolor Wednesday Eastern Standard Time, and I will see you then.